my dear students. Welcome back. I hope all are good. Today, let me start SST chapter number 19, confronting marginalization. अब हमने पिछले चैप्टर में पढ़ा था मार्जिनलाइजेशन क्या होता है ना, कैसे लोअर कास्ट को, महिलाओं को, मतलब इनको बिल्कुल महत्व न देना, इनको शक्तिहीन समझना। ठीक है, अब इन्हें क्या क्या सामना करना पड़ा उसके बारे में हम जानेंगे। कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल प्रोविजंस प्रोटेक्टिंग द मार्जिनलाइज। अब लोग तो समझेंगे नहीं इस चीज को, तो संविधान ने कुछ कानून बनाए इन लोगों के लिए ताकि इनको ज्यादा परेशान ना किया जाए। द लीडर्स ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंस इंडिया वांटेड टू एस्टैब्लिश इक्वालिटी इन सोसाइटी। जो इन भारतीय स्वतंत्र भारत के जो नेता रहे हैं उन्होंने चाहे कि इक्वालिटी इन सोसाइटी, जो हमारे समाज में एकता बनी रहे। इक्वालिटी इज वन ऑफ द बेसिक प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ इंडियन डेमोक्रेसी। तो जो इक्वालिटी है, जो समानता है, एक बेसिक सिद्धांत है भारतीय लोकतंत्र का, एक ये बेसिक सिद्धांत है। The leaders realized that the marginalized sections need to get some special privileges so that they could easily come at par with the rest of the people in society. अब जो है लीडर्स, जो नेता हैं, उन्हें समझ में आया, उन्हें रियलाइज हुई ये चीज कि जो इस मार्जिनलाइज सेक्शन के जो लोग हैं, है ना, ये इनको बहुत चीजें फेस करनी पड़ रही हैं समाज में रह के। तो इन्होंने इनके साथ खड़े होने का और कुछ एक्शन लेने का सोचा। तो द फर्स्ट अमेंडमेंट टू द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पास्ड इन 1951 allowed the states to make special provisions for the advancement of socially and educationally backward classes of citizens, that is the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. The constitutions aim to protect the interest of the marginalized section through a three-fold strategy. अब वो कौन कौन सी स्ट्रेटेजी रही है, आइए पढ़ते हैं। By providing measures that would ensure equality and abolish discriminatory practices. By act of positive discriminations where preferential treatment is given to the marginalized sections. By providing resources and benefits for the overall development of the marginalized sections. Fundamental rights. सबसे पहले बात करते हैं हम। The Constitution safeguards the rights of all citizens of the country by giving them certain fundamental rights which are essential to the security and well-being of the citizen. Let's read about some fundamental rights that directly benefit the marginalized community. अब fundamental rights कौन कौन से दिए गए इनको? Right to equality, समानता का अधिकार. The right to equality states that all citizens are equal in the eyes of law. कानून की नजर में सभी एक समान हैं, कभी जितने भी नागरिक हैं. It prohibits the state from discriminating against any citizen on ground of religion, race, caste, sex or place of the birth. Article 70 ensures equality of opportunity to citizens in matters relating to employment or appointment to any office under the state. So, however, the state can make provisions for socially and educationally backward classes that are not adequately represented. Article 17 forbid the practice of untouchability in any form. It also means that it is wrong to practice untouchability and that this practice will not be tolerated by democratic government. So, in fact, untouchability is a punishable crime now. छुआछूत को जो है आप बहुत ज्यादा वो माना जाने लगा और पनिशमेंट भी दिया जाता है। राइट अगेंस्ट एक्सप्लॉयटेशन, शोषण के विरुद्ध अधिकार। आर्टिकल 23 एंड 24 provide two provisions: prohibition of forced labor and prohibition of employment of children below the age of 14 years in hazardous jobs such as those in factories and mines. Culture and educational right, ठीक है, शिक्षा का और संस्कृति का अधिकार। These rights aim to preserve India's rich culture heritage, है ना, बहुत अच्छी खासी सांस्कृतिक विरासत है हमारे भारत में। They allow every citizen to preserve his or her own language and script. They also direct the state to grant financial aids to institutions promoting a distinct language, script or culture to protect and develop it. Right to constitutional remedies. Article 32 empowers all the citizens to approach the Supreme Court of India to seek enforcement or protection against violation of their fundamental rights. It provides a remedy in the form of a fundamental right for enforcement of all the other fundamental rights. Right to education, शिक्षा का अधिकार. The right to education that came into effect on 1 April 2010 states that every child who has attained the age of 6 years shall have the right to be admitted to a neighborhood school and receive free and compulsory education till he or she is 14 years of age. Directive principles of state policy. The directive principle of state policy are guidelines to the central and state governments in India to be kept in mind while framing laws and policies. These directives aim to provide social justice by treating all the people in society equally. Policies and law for the marginalized. To promote social justice and implement the provisions of the Constitution, the central and the state governments make law, policies, and schemes for the marginalized sections of our society. So, these policies and laws are made on the recommendation of any committee or organization. For the purpose of the report of any survey conducted on the marginalized group. Some of the policies made for the social, educational, and economical upliftment of marginalized groups are as follows. Hostel facilities. In tribal area or area having a large Dalit population, the government has provided free or subsidized hostel for students of Dalit and Adivasi communities. This has enabled them to use educational facilities that are not available in their localities. The reservation policy has been designed for the marginalized sections of our society. In these seats have been reserved for the Dalit, Adivasi and other minority communities. ठीक है, तो सरकार ने इनको ये छूट दी हुई है. In educational institution and government employment, this was considered necessary to break the stronghold of the upper caste people in this area and for the upliftment of the marginalized sections. Reservation in education and government jobs has encouraged and given new opportunities to the marginalized to learn, to work, develop new skills and achieve higher education. For implementation of this policy, the central and state governments prepare a list of scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and other backward castes. The students applying for reservation in educational institution and persons applying for government jobs are required to produce proof of their caste or tribe in the form of caste and tribe certificates. All the castes and tribes that are listed in the government list avail the benefits of reservation policy or submission of proof. सारे आपको प्रूफ सबमिट करने पड़ेंगे तब आपको उसमें रिजर्वेशन मिलेगा. सारे आपके डॉक्यूमेंट्स हैं, कुछ भी हैं, सारी चीजें सबमिट करनी होती. Cut-off marks. The government has defined a set of cut-off marks for admissions in colleges, specifically Institute of Professional Education. All the Dalit and tribal candidates who have secured marks above the cutoff can take admission in these institutes. So, government also offer special scholarship to these students, protecting the rights of marginalized people. In addition to policies, our country also has specific laws that guard the marginalized communities against discrimination and exploitation. So, let's read about them. What are the Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act 1988. In the late 1970s and 1980s, the underprivileged classes underwent constant bounding, discrimination and humiliation by the people belonging to the upper caste. The Dalit got together and asserted for equal status in society. They refused to perform work regarded as characteristics of their caste. The assertion could not be tolerated by the upper caste and they unleashed violence against the Dalit. So, in response to the violence, Dalit organizations started with organized movement to make the government aware of the discrimination and harassment faced by them. बट आजकल तो कम होता है, पहले ज्यादा होता था, तो धीरे धीरे ये चीजें जो कम हो गई हैं. Along with the practice of untouchability, they pressurized the government to pass new legislation that would give severe penalty to those who supported discriminatory activities. The Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989 was made to address this situation. The law that was finally approved and passed and includes the following. It lists modes of humiliation that involve physical manhandling as well as an hideous practice of compelling a Dalit or an Adivasi to eat or drink an inedible or obnoxious stuff forcefully. Removing their clothes, parading them naked with painted face or any such act with is against human dignity. It lists actions that disposes them of their indicate and poor resources which include occupying or cultivating land belonging to a member of the deprived class by force or compelling them to work as slaves. Okay, so it penalizes and crime against Dalit or Adivasi women, which include assaulting or using force with intent to dishonor them. Adivasi demand in the Act of 1989. The Adivasi demand of Act of 1989 clearly upgraded the status of the Adivasis as well. So, it states that they cannot be removed from the land that they have owned traditionally. In case someone encroaches upon tribal land, they shall be severely penalized. This act states what has been promised to the tribals in the constitution, that land belonging to them cannot be sold or brought by non-tribal people, and in the event of violation of in this law, the tribals have the right to reclaim their land. C.K. Janu. C.K. Janu is an Adivasi activist. Like many others, she completely supports the cause of the Adivasis. She pointed out that the state governments were violating rights guaranteed by the constitution to the Adivasis by giving permission to non-tribals who own timber mills, paper mills, etc. to exploit tribal resources, or by declaring forests are reserved, forests or sanctuaries. As a result, the Adivasis were forcefully evicted from their homeland, due to which they lost their land, homes and sources. So, sources of livelihood. Now they live in poor and pathetic condition. C.K. Janu wants the government to rehabilitate those tribals who have been driven away from the land that one belonged to that. तो इन्होंने ये स्टेप उठाया और सरकार को जो है सही इन सब चीजों से अवगत कराया. Manual scavenging. Manual scavenging refers to manually removing human as well animal exceed waste. Those who do this job are called manual scavengers. So they use brooms, tin plates and baskets to dispose of human and animal waste. This work causes many health hazards. The unhygienic conditions expose them to skin, eye, respiratory and gastrointestinal diseases. So people of the Dalit community are employed as manual scavengers and are paid very less. On top of this, they are also considered untouchables and often live in settlements on the outskirts of villages and towns. This is happening despite the fact that in 1993, the government had passed employment of manual scavengers and construction of dry latrines Prohibition Act. The act forbids employment of manual scavengers as well as building or dry latrines or toilets. In 2003, Safai Karamchari Andolan, 13 other organizations and several scavengers and other individuals filed a public interest litigation PIL in the Supreme Court. So they complained that despite the imposition of the prohibition, scavenging is still practiced in the country. They also pointed out that manual scavengers were working in government undertakings like railways. The courts cited its observations that since 1993, there has been a rise in number of manual scavengers. The court further directed the government to verify the fact within 6 months. The petitioners sought enforcement of the fundamental rights. The government was asked to initiate time-bound programs to liberate and rehabilitate them. The prohibition of employment as manual scavenger and their Rehabilitation Act came into force on 6 December 2013. So it is inferred that the presence of laws and policies is not enough. People have to constantly make efforts to implement and protect the rights of their fellow citizens. Okay, so everyone desires equality, dignity and respect, and it is the fundamental right of all citizens which no one should be denied of. Okay, so all topics are covered in this chapter here. I hope you all are very well understanding and enjoy this chapter. So we will meet to the next class. थैंक यू।